Today, we're diving into some lessons that have been around for centuries. We're talking simple stories with some seriously powerful truths hiding inside.
It's a fascinating thought, right? What if all the wisdom we're searching for in these complicated books and long lectures has actually been with us the whole time, just packaged in these little tales told around a fire or passed down from parent to child?
Because these aren't just for kids. Nope, think of them more like compact guides to being human. They help us figure out our own minds, our relationships, and our place in the world. So let's see what they have to teach us. Our guide on this little journey is a collection of 100 moral stories. And the key idea here is that these lessons are universal. They're meant for absolutely everyone, no matter who you are, where you're from, or how old you are. So first things first, let's start with ourselves. How can these ancient tales actually help us build a stronger character? Oh, you know this one. You've got the hare who's super fast, a little arrogant, and way too confident. He just bolts off, leaving the poor tortoise in the dust. And halfway through, he's so sure he's gonna win, he figures, I'll take a nap. And this, of course, is where everything flips. The tortoise, slow but just so determined, just keeps going. She plods right past that sleeping hare and crosses the finish line. It's such a timeless lesson, isn't it? Consistent effort can absolutely beat raw talent, especially when that talent is wrapped in a whole lot of arrogance. Now, here's a totally different take on persistence. Can you imagine trying something 2,000 times and failing every single time? Edison's assistant was at his wit's end. He told him, "All our work is for nothing. We've learned absolutely nothing." But just look at Edison's response. What an amazing reframe. He didn't see failure at all. He just saw the elimination of wrong answers. He saw progress. That's such a powerful way to look at our own mistakes. They're not dead ends, you know? They're just part of the process. And this leads us perfectly into our next big theme. So many of these stories really boil down to one single idea. Our reality is shaped by how we choose to see it. Okay, so look at this contrast. It's pretty fascinating. On the left, you have the fox who can't get the grapes, so he just decides they must be sour anyway. He changes his perception to deal with his failure. But on the right, you have a peasant who sees a giant boulder, not as a problem, but as a challenge. And by moving it, he literally finds gold. It's the exact same thing, an obstacle, but one mindset leads to giving up, and the other leads to a reward. All right, so we've looked inward at ourselves, but how does all this wisdom apply to how we interact with other people? Let's talk about the impact of our actions. Just picture this scene. There's a young boy and he's really struggling with his anger. So his dad tells him, every time you lose your temper, I want you to go hammer a nail into that fence. The first day he hammers 37 nails, but over time he starts to get a handle on it, and eventually he stops hammering nails completely. Then his dad gives him a new job. Pull out one nail for every day you don't lose your temper. And when all the nails are finally gone, the father takes him to the fence. He says, "You did a good job, son, but look at the holes. The fence will never, ever be the same." And this is such a brilliant illustration of the lasting impact our words can have. Sure, you can apologize, but the scars, they can stick around. Here's another story about our impact. So a farmer lays a net for these cranes that are just wrecking his corn. But in the process, he also catches a stork. And the stork is pleading for his life, right? Arguing that he's innocent, he's harmless, he wasn't doing anything wrong. But the farmer's response is just blunt. He says, "Look, I caught you with the birds destroying my crops, so you're going to suffer the same fate." It's a pretty harsh lesson on accountability, but it reminds us that who we hang out with, the company we keep, can really define us, for better or for worse. Now, there is one story in this collection that really feels like it ties all of these other lessons together. It's this beautiful little masterclass in how to live a life with purpose. So the pencil maker tells the pencil 5 things it needs to know for life. First, let yourself be guided. You can do amazing things if you have support. Second, embrace the tough times. That painful sharpening is what makes you better. Third, you can always fix your mistakes. You literally have an eraser. Fourth, and this is a big one, your character, what's on the inside, that's the most important part of you. And finally, number 5, everywhere you go, on every surface you touch, you have to leave your mark, make an impact. And of course, the story isn't really about a pencil, is it? It's about you.
It's a reminder of your own potential, your own strength, and the unique purpose that only you can fulfill.
So all of this brings us to the final and, I think, the most important question of all. Seriously, just think about it for a second. Is it the persistence of that little tortoise? Is it the positive perspective of the peasant who found gold? Or is it the self-awareness from the parable of the pencil? Which of these simple truths really speaks to where you are right now, today? Because in the end, these fables and parables, they're not just stories to be heard, they're basically blueprints for stories to be lived. So the real question they leave us with is, what story are you going to write with your life?